I'm going to preface my talk with a series of questions. So, what is the most basic premise, the most basic axiom, I guess, upon which everything depends? What unalterable fact is that which all of man, all of nature is built upon? What is the most fundamental building block for man's living, his achievements, his code of ethics, his laws of science, his self-esteem? Existence. Everything in the world begins with the single axiom declaring the object's existence. Coming into existence is ground zero for anything and everything in the world. Yet what exactly is the nature of existence? How do we exist? What does it mean to exist? What are the implications of existence? Upon being brought into existence, what gives us the right to distinguish between good and bad, black and white? Furthermore, what gives us the right to proclaim with such confidence that existence has meaning? What gives us the right to proclaim that existence is anything we claim it to be at all? These are all questions that I once asked, and hopefully will be able to answer in the next 8 minutes or so. So, while wandering through the bleak and empty space of a premature existential crisis, I found myself perusing through the pages of a particular philosophy, aptly named existentialism, which is the philosophy that sort of solved many of these questions for me. And at its core, existentialism dissects our reality into two parts: existence and essence. The essence of an object is its existence in the eyes of a human. It is the name with which we call it, the function with which we use it, the negative or positive connotations with which we address it. It is the arbitrary value and meaning with which we assign to it. For example, the essence of a microphone would include its label, a microphone, its function as an instrument which amplifies or transmits the sound we feed into it, its value as a microphone, which is admittedly not that much, and its connotations as an instrument that is undoubtedly useful in talks such as these, yet equally unreliable and prone to falling into periodic disuse before ringing my ears with an ear-piercing screech, hence my not using of them. Conversely, an object's existence is something much more mysterious. An object's existence refers to the object stripped of all human connotation, all the arbitrary labels which we attributed to it in order to better ourselves. It is the object in all of its stubborn, impersonal existence, devoid of name, purpose, meaning, value, whatever. Again, with a microphone, its existence is actually not something I can describe, much less explain to you, for an object's naked existence defies the arbitrary labels of language. If I were to say microphone, I'd be referring to the sequence of sounds I make with my mouth when I say microphone, but not that steel cylinder that I grip in my hand. So where it gets interesting is the relationship and the interaction between essence and existence. Existentialism posits that the natural, the purest, truest form of an object lies in its existence. When something or someone came into being, it was their existence that came into being, only to be followed by the constructs and labels of human society, thereby gaining its essence. When the microphone was first constructed, it first came into being as a nameless, meaningless hunk of metal and wires. Only upon man's existence did it take on the name of the microphone, begin its duty as our instrument. But the microphone's existence never acknowledged its essence. It was only with man's vain labeling and ambition that the microphone had its essence thrust upon it. So once we begin to consider our reality in this dichotomy of existence and essence, and we accept that the former precedes the latter, suddenly a lot of unforeseen social, ethical, and metaphysical implications open up. And it's these implications that I'll be talking about today. So why don't we start with a totally lighthearted and casual conversation about feminism. Feminism definitively is the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of the equality of the sexes. Okay? As such, feminism is a movement hugely concerned with the woman and what it means to be one. With this in mind, let us examine the existence of the woman through the lens of our newly found dichotomy, starting with her existence, which would entail her presence in and of itself, and that's pretty much it with regards to the woman's existence or existence of anything at all. Her essence, however, is where the definition of a woman becomes muddled. Within more conservative culture, the standard of a woman is defined by qualities of femininity and subservience. The proper woman must remain at home, raise children, and above all listen to the nearest patriarch. Within feminist existentialism, however, the essence of a woman is precisely this social standard with which we hold women. However, harkening back to existence precedes essence, these arbitrary labels are not but constructs we have fashioned upon the woman's existence. In other words, in the words of Simone de Beauvoir, French name, whatever, who is widely regarded as the father, or rather mother, of feminist existentialism, one is not born but becomes a woman. With those words in mind, hopefully we can realize that the way in which women are taught and raised are completely disconnected from the way women exist. And it is up to women themselves to determine what the word woman means to them, or what it means at all. So next, I'm going to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes as we take this philosophy for a metaphysical spin. We mentioned earlier that the essence of objects includes any sense of meaning or purpose. And insofar as we accept that existence truly precedes essence, and that essence is but an artificial construct man has designed to delude himself, then we can now see clearly that not just life, but existence in itself is inherently meaningless. Meaning is just a quality that we as human beings try to force onto our lives and the things we do. But the stubborn, impersonal force of a naked existence prevents the world from ever having the capacity for meaning. Undeniably, a sense of purpose is integral to the human experience. It drives him, it motivates him, it pushes him above and beyond the limits of humanity, but the universe, quite frankly, doesn't care about pushing the limits of humanity. It doesn't care about the well-being of the human race. It doesn't care if basic rights are being violated. It doesn't care if you're a liberal or a conservative or whatever meaningless string of syllables you choose to label yourself. The universe and everything in it simply exists. It really doesn't give a shit. It sits there, quietly, stubbornly, devoid of meaning or value, rejecting all of man's labels, replying to him with echoes of his own screams, which man convinces himself to be something divine, when in actuality the universe has just left him an existential scene. That is the reality of existence. For all of human history, we have been drifting through the meaningless expanse of our world using essence as a blindfold that tells us that what we do has meaning, but ultimately there is no such thing as meaning. In the rawest materials we mine from the earth to the grandest monuments we erect in our name, there is no periodic element known as meaning to be found. It is but an ill-fitting sticker that we stamp onto the forehead of existence. That's a little heavy, I know. But while this admittedly very edgy nihilism may be disconcerting to many, upon thorough application of our philosophy, we can see why that shouldn't be the case. Consider the essence of a human being. It includes our ravenous needs and wants, which includes our inherent insatiable craving for meaning. So hopefully we can begin to realize that not only meaning, but our hunger for it are inherently unfounded. And if you think about it, meaning is not actually integral to survival. You can live perfectly content without meaning when you have acknowledged and accepted your meaninglessness. My being here, giving a TED Talk, should be some sort of testament to that. And having realized my meaningless, I can tell you that meaning is really kind of overrated. That the greatest lie that society ever told was not that there was any meaning in this world, but that there was ever a need for it. But from this logos of existence precedes essence springs yet another troubling conclusion. For next on our existentialist guillotine is the subject of happiness. So let's jump into it. The existence of happiness is, as with all other subjects, the mere presence of its being. It is the influx of dopamine to the neural system which allows us to experience that which we call happiness. However, turning to the essence of happiness, we can suddenly question the ultimate worth of it. As humans, as living organisms, we are born with an innate drive to pursue happiness above all, and all of humanity's efforts have revolved around that fulfillment. Whether that is the construction of the pyramids, or you falling asleep in the middle of my talk, has been in the pursuit of some form of happiness. But why do we truly pursue happiness? What innate quality or value of happiness justifies it as the basis for ethics and the ultimate goal of humanity? Is there any? Or are we chasing after this dopamine influx for no other reason than it feels natural to? If I asked you why you pursue happiness, I'm positive that every single answer I get will be something along the lines of it makes the world a better place, or it drives the human race forward. But all of these answers describe a goal that ultimately is pursued for the sake of pursuing said happiness. So now you can see the circularity and the consequent absurdity of the pursuit of happiness. In fact, if any of you have ever struggled with some form of depression, or mental illness, then you might know what I mean when I say that it's completely plausible to be addicted to sadness in the same way that most are addicted to happiness. I know a lot of people who voluntarily immerse themselves in very toxic thoughts, and to most of us that seems absurd and backwards, but if we consider the polar opposite, which is to surround yourself with positivity and inspirational quotes and whatnot, are they really so different? Are they not just chemical reactions to the brain, made to attain a specific emotional state? To me, the only difference seems to be the social and historical label of one is good and one is bad. So that's pretty much all I have for today. And as I near the end of my time, hopefully, some of you are looking in the world in a suddenly stranger light. Maybe it feels a little darker, maybe a little distant, maybe it seems disgusting to you, maybe it's unchanged. However you now feel towards the universe, I urge you to reevaluate it, because you never know what truths or mysteries lurk in the hidden folds of our mysterious existence.